Hi, I am Mark Ralyona. This is my educational video, and this experimental study is an stratified random sampling. I chose watermelon crop as an example for the study and randomly placed in 4 different places for executing experiment or observation of the study. Statement of the problem. There are 3 statements of the problem. First, what happens if the watermelon crop do not acquire direct sunlight? Second, what happens if the watermelon crop filled a lot of water flooded? Third, what happened to the 2 watermelon crops if they're planted in different places? First is planted in the hill. Second is planted in the flat area. Second is the objectives of the study. The objectives of the study are to identify the effects of the watermelon crop if it does not acquire on what it's needed and proper place to be in. Number 3. Formulate the hypothesis. Question: how many seedlings are needed for the test in flooding, indirect sunlight, hill, and flat? Now, this is my table for summation notation formula. There are 4 seedlings that I have planted in different places. One for flooding, and one for indirect sunlight, and one for the hill, and one for the flat. And below are my formula that the total is 4. Okay, next. Number 4. Define the data to collect statistical analysis. In this problem to be tested, we need 4 seedlings of watermelon to be tested in different kinds of events in the study. The first seedling will be tested for flooding with water. The second seedling will be tested for indirect sunlight. The third seedling will be tested on planting in the hill area. The last or the fourth seedling will be tested on planting in the flat area. On this test, it cost a lot of time to estimate and to reach the result that are needed in the study. It takes a couple of weeks so that I did it on advance to obtain what are needed. Number 5. Determine the experimental technique and design. An experiment is to be conducted to determine the effects of the 4 problems in the water flooded, indirect sunlight, hill, and flat area. Each of the watermelon seedlings are places on different directions: flooded, indirect sunlight, hill area, and flat area. After 2 weeks, each of the seedlings founded the results and independently analyzed for the data. In the hill area, the seedling seems perfectly fine in times of rainy season. In the flooded area, the seedling turned yellow and wilted. In the indirect sunlight, the seedling grows tall but looks pale. In the flat area, the seedling looks wilted, pale, and the leaf turned into color yellow because the flat area seedling filled with water. Next is treatment factor tested is watermelon seedling. Next treatment level is the 4 seedlings of watermelon. Next, response variable. First, in the flooded area, the seedling turned yellow and wilted. Second, in indirect sunlight, the seedling grow tall or leggy and looks pale. Third, in hill area, the seedling seems perfectly fine but some soil are washed out. Number 4, in the flat area, the seedling looks wilted, pale, and turns into color yellow because the seedling filled with water. Then, our experimental unit is 4 watermelon seedling for 4 different places. And last sampling unit, 2 seedling got the same effect and the 2 got the different reaction. Number 6. Construct the experimental layout. Then this is my table. Health of seedlings that planted in different places. I put 100% for very good. I put 75% for good and 50% for normal, then 25% for bad. There are some places that I planted for flooded plant, indirect sunlight plant, hill planted crop, flat planted crop. Then the green color is the percentage, the blue color is the frequency. The next the next table is this. The references. This is my references below. Then the stubs and or classes are here. The watermelon seedlings that planted on different places. Below are the places that I planted for watermelon. Then frequency, cumulative frequency, relative frequency, and percentage. Then this is my solution in calculating those tables. For cumulative frequency, here, frequency plus cumulative frequency equals cumulative frequency. And for relative frequency, here are the calculations, and percentage are here of all the calculations. Then next, number 7. Conduct the experiment and collect the necessary data.
Hello, ma'am. This is my observation after 2 weeks in planting some watermelon in different places. These are some of my observation. First, in the flat area, this is the watermelon planted in the flat side area. Next is the watermelon that is planted in the flooded in the flooded area. Here it is, filled with water, and it seems that it leaves shows some effects by this flooded water. The leaf shows color discoloration, like yellowish color in the leaf. Next is the seedling like watermelon planted in the hillside area. This is the effects here. It seems that no effects when raining. As you can see, ma'am, the weather shows raining, but don't worry, I was injected an anti-flu vaccine. This is the watermelon planted in hillside area. The crop is color green, seems healthy and in good condition. Next is the watermelon planted where there is no sunlight.
As we can see, the plant is leggy and tall. Then here are some necessary data that I have collected in experiment 1, case 1, flooding. After 2 weeks, the seedling that is flooded with water turned yellow. It looks like pale and weak, where it seems that it's in the middle of dying. According to the website that explains on what happens when crop get flooded, it says that the primary damage to plants from flooding or ponding is oxygen deprivation. Water in soil or above the soil surface or flood means there is much less oxygen available to the plants. In other words, the watermelon dies because of oxygen deprivation. Next is experiment 2, case 2, in direct sunlight. After 2 weeks, the seedling that placed far from direct sunlight, the seedling turned into yellow-green color. It's taller than the others, looks pale, and the body seems fragile. According to the Seed and Seedling Biology by Penn State Extension, that seedling will become leggy and fragile and will not produce to their potential if they do not have sufficient light. Some website that I search in Google says that without light, the seedling will die. Then some explains that the plant without sunlight will lose their color and die. The length of time a plant can survive without light can be between 4 to 20 days depending on the amount of light the plant is normally subjected to. Low light plants can go to 12 to 20 days, whereas light loving light-loving plants can merely last between 4 to 10 days before they die. Experiment 3, Case 3, Hill Planted Side Crop. According to observation, the soil started to wash out, or soil erosion, but the watermelon crop seems in a good condition. Next, experiment 4, case 4, flat planted side. According to observation, case 4 is the same effect as case 1 because both plant suffers the same experience, flooded with water. Number 8. Analyze the data obtained from the experiment. As the data obtained from the study, crops that planted in the place where plants had been flooded a lot of water means a lot of damage will occur because intense rain events can physically damage crops, delay growth, restrict root growth, cause oxygen deficiency, and nutrient loss, while seedlings that do not acquire nutrient from sunlight will cause from being leggy and fragile. Lastly, in planting on the hillside area is a great choice for the farmers while raining. Crops that planted on the hillside side area while raining is a good choice because farmers will not suffer from flooding and crop loss. Then water will not become stagnant in the area. Number 9. Summarize the results. Make conclusions and inferences. Now, this is the summary of the results conducted in the study. From flooded, indirect sunlight, hill area, and flat area. Conclusion of the study. Being careless in planting some crops without knowing in management are great problems and great loss of income. Knowledge in farming are the best way to have a great success in choosing a good business. In rainy season, the best way to plant if you are planting this kind of crop like watermelon, you must choose the hillside area if you have it. It is a well tested and studied. But if you plant a crop like watermelon in flat area, make sure that you will create an irrigation system to make sure that the crop should not be flooded and not turn into waste. Also, keep and make sure that the crop are heated from direct sunlight for it is needed for the plant to absorb such nutrient. Then, this is some of my references. Then, thank you and goodbye.